You're listening to a Countout Podcast.
Ready to go inside the rock and roll world of Machine Gun Kelly? The all-new Hulu documentary, Machine Gun Kelly's Life in Pink, gives you intimate and unfiltered access to Machine Gun Kelly's meteoric rise to stardom as he overcomes self-doubt and haters to bring his authentic vision of music to his fans. The Hulu documentary, Machine Gun Kelly's Life in Pink, is now streaming only on Hulu.
Introducing Under Armour's Infinity High Sports Bra. Its ergonomic design is molded to support the natural movement of your body. With cord-out padding, the better breathability eliminates extra bulk without sacrificing support. And quick-dry padding is Under Armour's fastest-drying padding yet. When you're lifting heavy, running fast, and pushing yourself further than ever before, you need a bra that will help you go that extra mile and make you feel your best. Shop the Infinity High Sports Bra now at UA.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show that after the Forbbiden Door comes the Forbbiden Podcast. That's right. If you listen to this podcast, you're going to commit original sin. I don't know where that bit's coming from. I'm Ryan Knightsey. With me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, the ace, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing?
I've never been so proud to be called the ace. It means I'm a loser tonight, but I'm the best of all time, so that's okay.
I guess that's what it means.
It sounded like that's what it meant.
Oh, probably. If you're listening to this show, then you're listening to the audio-only version of Ring Post Radio, which means you've succeeded. And while you're here, why don't you just subscribe to the whole dang feed, brother or sister, or in between? In between, I feel like in between's not the right term. It's a spectrum in a sense, but I feel like that's not right. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to this episode. This is our immediate reactions to AEW / New Japan's Forbbiden Door pay-per-view event. We are recording this currently at 12:03 a.m. technically.
It's earlier than usual for an AEW pay-per-view. Let's not act like it's not.
That's that New Japan influence.
Last time was what, 1 a.m.?
Yeah, last time was 1 a.m. So we're recording this immediately following Forbbiden Door for immediate release on Monday. So we very much appreciate you for joining us for this show. But like always, we always have the audio versions of our show, normal shows, every Sunday. And then, of course, we also live stream it along on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So we appreciate you for listening to this audio-only version. I guess there will be a YouTube version, but it'll just be audio of Ring Post Radio. Immediate thoughts to Forbbiden Door. So that is it, Scotty. That is the show that was cursed, the show that was built wrong. Forbbiden Door, because all those things happen, a bunch of injuries, sickness, bad booking, and all this other stuff. The show sucked, right?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Close the podcast.
Probably, if I went into my book, we don't count the buy-in. That's not part of the show, obviously.
Mm-hmm. That was the best part, honestly, the buy-in.
Okay. Sure. But we look at the main card itself, and terribly booked, right? Like you said, too many injuries,
way too many.
Sickness,
took all the stars.
Too many
off
people
the show.
coming in injured, which could have affected one match, and I think it'll affect the future in some way. But all these things, it just guaranteed us such a bad show, right?
Yeah, it was solely bent on being a bad show.
It was so bad that it was probably the show of the year.
Yeah, cut the shit. Yeah, cut the shit, Tony. That is undoubtedly.
I do have a cut the shit, Tony moment at the end, and it's not about Tony Schiavone. I'll tell you that. Tony, cut the shit.
Undoubtedly, halfway through the year, I'll put my seal of approval. The boy howdy show of the year there. This was outstanding. outstanding. And maybe it's because maybe people loved it because expectations were so low. But you and I have been saying it for weeks, saying it for months, that a show like this, a dream match, a dream card scenario, does not need every match needs a storyline. It does not need it does not need
it didn't even need House of Torture, and I thought it did.
It didn't House of Torture, and I swear it would have saved the show and been 5 stars all around. But even then,
they should have came out the end.
That would have been hilarious. That should have been who making the save. It didn't even need everybody on the card, because the people that were there, New Japan wrestlers, AEW wrestlers alike, are fantastic wrestlers.
The surprise, brother.
Oh yeah,
the surprise. And I ain't talking about a certain debut.
Oh yeah, this was a fantastic show. Undoubtedly the current runner for show of the year. I can't imagine another show beating it unless it's an AEW pay-per-view, honestly. Maybe I don't know about New Japan, maybe a G1 Climax final.
I just have confidence. So the only show for me that could rival it will be the Stardom final day of the 5-star, because that was my show of the year last year.
That's another good pick.
Because they just go hard, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We're just talking main card, which we are. Obviously, we're only talking main card here. It's going to be really tough. And I don't think there was a match of the year per se on it.
No, I didn't have any I didn't have any 5-star matches.
No, me either. There was one for me that got, if you told me it was in your contender situation, I'd believe you. I don't think it walks away with it, but just an overall just phenomenal pay-per-view. And it's crazy to think, right? Because all these things happened. Terrible luck all around. Curse show, blah, 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 blah. And when they run this back next year, which they will, because if you think New Japan's not going to want that gate again, part of their numbers, especially when they were in the red last year, come on. They're going to happily take that gate. And they're going to probably want a better showing on their end in terms of their title matches and their showing, because listen, the low point, and I say this with quotations because there weren't any low points, were them losing a little bit. Like, for them, it'd be losing multiple times, but at the end, who cares, right? Who cares? I'm happy that, it felt like politics didn't get too much in the way of a lot of the show. And once it was booked, as we saw, filter out, and it's just one of the best shows of the year. I saw some people say, I could put this in one of the best shows I've ever seen. And I understand that if someone's saying that, because in terms of just the delivery in the in-ring parts, top notch. Every single match either met expectations or exceeded expectations. I think that's fair on the main card.
You talk about the politics, of course, and I have it written down. And in any sort of outing that was between AEW and New Japan wrestlers on one other side, not counting like the 6-man Jericho Appreciation Society like stuff, things like that, but counting 4 ways and all that stuff, AEW got 6 wins over New Japan's 3. So yeah, it's definitely heavily on the AEW side, and maybe hindsight, maybe that's the reason why New Japan was kind of scared of like doing any sort of like booking stuff, is because they knew they were going to lose a bunch of matches. But undoubtedly, I mean, this was an AEW pay-per-view with New Japan wrestlers. It was a great pay-per-view. It's fantastic wrestling up and down the card. I think you're right. 100% we're getting a second one. I would be shocked, appalled if there was not a second one of these. Maybe a better slot in the calendar, maybe, but I don't even care if this was just good. Just give me more of this.
Like, everyone talks about, Danielson had to miss it, CM Punk had to miss it.
Great, get him on the next one.
I can't stress this enough. Kenny Omega missed this.
Yeah.
The reason this show's happening, right? The reason we wanted this show is because of Kenny Omega, essentially, right? So it's gonna happen again.
Yeah, imagine
Japan wants Kenny Omega back.
Imagine
you can't tell me he's the most popular international talent they've ever had.
Imagine what the show would be would be like if your Punks, your Danielson, your Omegas, Naitos, maybe Ibushi. I don't know. Maybe imagine if those people were on this card. Imagine this was show of the year. This was show of the year. Imagine if those people were on the card.
I would guarantee you it wouldn't have a chance of losing the show of the year conversation, right?
And it also just goes, but that point there is just like, it just goes to show how stacked this AEW roster is, how stacked the New Japan roster is. Just two unbelievably stacked rosters cutting together. A bunch of the top stars gone for AEW, a bunch of the middle of the card, lower card, all gone. And it does not matter, because when you put them all together, they make another great roster. Yeah. And they just had a fantastic show.
You know what I thought about here is that I think the coming weeks for AEW is going to be really interesting, more than anything, because they're now going to have to believe in guys that they haven't necessarily been fully believing in, because now we're going to really see what happens with all these people missing, because they're not going to have New Japan as a crutch on TV. They're going to have Blood and Guts this week, but they're going to have to believe in the Andrades, which we're seeing now. We're already seeing it. That's where they're going. They're going to have to believe in the Pox, which, again, we're seeing. Swerve Strickland, Keith Lee, all these guys. And those are 4 top-tier guys that if you told me you put them in the world title picture tomorrow, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. They have so many ways to go now. They added someone to their roster tonight, someone that I think everyone can agree is a fantastic ad, and in time he's just going to get better and better and better and better, because he's just going to I don't think the stink was as bad as some may, and I know other people just didn't even see any stink on him, but he's only going to get better, because there is still some, because he's doing what he was doing in WWE in a sense, in a lot of his moves, which are great moves. They're very physical, they're awesome, but he's going to add more to the repertoire, and he's in. And now we have the greatest faction AEW's ever seen in terms of just wrestling talent, right? So instead of me rambling on and not getting into the show, we should probably just get into the show, because we're going to have so many talking points.
Oh, totally. Well, we're going to have to go into the match stuff, but I just want to address the buy-in just real quickly. So we had Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi defeating the team of Aaron Solo and QT Marshall. We had Lance Archer defeating Nick Camarado. We had Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland defeating El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. And we had Max Caster and Billy Gunn defeating the team of Alex Coughlin, Kevin Knight, the DKC, and Yuya Uemura. Do you have any thoughts or anything about those 4 matches?
I thought the tag that I expected to be good was good, which was great.
I see you're talking about the Keith Lee, Swerve, Desperado, Kanemaru.
I think Kanemaru and Desperado work great with no matter the opponent. Like, they can work with juniors, they can work with heavyweights. We saw that, of course, earlier this week with Kanemaru in Japan working with Ishii, but they work really well with them. And I think it was a match where they had to find their footing a little bit, and then once they got into it, they really got going. They had a fantastic finish to the match where Swerve just kind of went off. He did the leaping hesitation kick, wipes out Kanemaru, and then he does the thing to Desperado with the diving stomp, and then you have the finish that I never remember the name of. But that was really good. And I thought Nick Camarado looked really good.
Yep.
I noticed that as well. I was like, this feels like it's supposed to be a thing for Archer, and I think Archer will be fine. But I thought he looked really good. I could imagine if you ever wanted to believe in him down the line, you definitely could. And having Billy Gunn and Max Caster beat the LA Dojo was weird.
Yeah, that was weird. I wasn't too much of a fan about that. I mean, that was
my least favorite match.
If you're doing that angle, just have the LA Dojo win. Give it to Alex Coughlin, who is no longer a young lion, right? That's that idea. I don't know why we're doing that. You can have Billy Gunn eat a fall to Alex Coughlin. I think that'd be fine. But yes, the Swerve tag was very good. Everything else was nothing was bad on the show. Not even the buy-in to me. So I loved it. But let's get into the main card here. It was, of course, a 10-match card. No, sorry, 9-match card. My apologies.
9-match main card, yeah.
9-match main card. We're starting off, of course, with the 6-man tag team match. The Jericho Appreciation Society of Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki from Suzuki-gun defeated the team of Eddie Kingston, Shota Umino, and Wheeler Yuta. I thought this was a very much return to the great AEW shows that always start with a 6-man tag. Like the first AEW show of all time, 6-man tag. These trios matches, every single one that AEW does is fantastic. There's no reason.
Those goddamn belts.
Yeah,
in this company.
It's fantastic. Putting those belts in immediately makes those like everything even better. I thought.
Stop waiting.
I thought everyone did a really great job in this match, but yeah. I thought Shota Umino was the best looking mother trucker out here. He was the best I've ever seen him.
Yeah.
And not just in terms of like wrestling skill or anything, but obviously like the AEW crowd, is very forgiving, and the AEW crowd is very on board with a lot of stuff. Yeah. It's not, and his connection to Jon Moxley makes him immediate, importance in the AEW audience's eyes. But he was able to use that and give charisma, and he had a great look. I thought his look was even better, and just he had it all, and it just he looked like a star to me coming out of this match. Yeah. Despite, I don't think he was pinned. I think it was Yuta.
No, he was pinned.
Oh, was he pinned? Yeah, despite being pinned, I thought he really looked like a star in this match. But maybe sometimes the stars burn so bright they burn a little bit, I guess. So we'll get to that. But yes, what did you think of this match?
I've always been the higher guy on the Shota Umino run that he's currently had. I've always been the higher guy than most because I've always seen the potential that he has. He has the makings of being a star. And there was never a time more than tonight where the spotlight was shined on him and he showed up. Not only did he show up, he had the crowd in the palm of his hands. Kevin Kelly's saying this guy is a future main eventer in New Japan when the time comes. And you never felt that more than tonight. You never did. Because there were inconsistencies. When Rev Pro came back, he wasn't in ring shape. We heard about that. And, his big matches. He had a decent one with Jay White at the show that I never remember the name of. Windy City Riot, maybe.
Yes. Was it? Was that Jay White?
Capital Collision was the next one.
Yeah.
So he had a good showing there. That was one of his better single showings. He had a good match against Ospreay last year, I thought, for the Rev Pro title. But when you want him to look like a star, he's in the ring with Minoru Suzuki, Eddie Kingston, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta got his shine right early in the match. Mm-hmm. Everyone got their shine. I got to give them credit to that. I think they did great at doing that. But in the end, it was all about Shooter. And that's because of what he did. Because of what he did in the match. People wanted to see him win. And, the funny thing is, depending on how long Forbbiden Door shows go, he's going to be higher up the card each and every time if this is an annual thing. He's going to get higher and higher up the card. I think putting him on this card was brilliant because people know him. AEW fans know him because they know Moxley. And Moxley joins AEW, goes to the G1. That's when that relationship begins. You put Shooter in this match with his friends for the advantage. He loses in the end, but damn, did he look good in defeat. That's how you accomplished all the check marks. This match was great. It was a great match. Just the electricity in that building was phenomenal. It was top tier. I really, really enjoyed this one. get the damn trios titles in the damn company. Sammy Guevara was actually like the least. Well, he's not shocking that he's the least important part, but he did like the one like was it 450? No, it was the shooting star press, and otherwise I don't remember a single thing he did. But just a really, really good match. You got a little bit of everything, but it was all about Shooter.
Like we do every time with one of these, the media scrum is happening as we're recording. So every once in a while, I might also jump in, folks at home with, really just Scotty. I'm going to jump in with stuff from the media call. Right now, Jay White is talking first with Tony Khan, so that's very interesting. The only other thing I want to talk about is that Tony Khan mentioned Death Before Dishonor, the Ring of Honor second show under the AEW Tony Khan banner, Lowell, Massachusetts, July 23rd. So
he officially announced it.
Yep, we got a date. So just shouting that out for Scotty to look at his calendar. There's a good chance FTR might be on the show, so why not?
Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance a lot of people will be on that show at this point.
That's true.
They have all the belts.
Mm-hmm. See, Jonathan Gresham versus Brian Cage.
That's
what I'm talking about, baby. Two short buff dudes. Two short kings. Anyways, this match was fantastic and a great way to start the night. Then we had Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships and the IWGP Tag Team Championship match with FTR getting the win, becoming 7-star FTR, defeating Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb, and Roppongi Vice, Rocky Romero, and Trent Beretta. Scotty, what did you think of this match?
Match of two halves. That's what I thought about this match. I thought the first half was kind of just there, but the second half was great. The moment Dax walked back out there, the match turned up to the level I was waiting for. Obviously was a little worried when Dax disappeared. I think everyone was.
Yeah, everyone was like, the show's cursed.
The show's cursed. FTR's gone.
Even I was. I mean, to be fair, even I was like, oh no.
Oh no, it was a worry. I mean, he went to the back. You know, like Cashville was wrestling by himself, but it worked out in their favor. They're now the IWGP Heavyweight Champions. Give me them versus Dangerous Tekkers tomorrow. Give me them against Aussie Open. Blah, 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 blah. You get the point.
Yep.
But sorry for hitting my microphone. I thought this match was good. Going into this, I didn't expect it to be like a 4-star extravaganza or anything. I never expected that because you have 3 teams going in there at it. But it was good. It was solid. I enjoyed it. And I think you have the right result. You have them holding all these titles, and you got to complete it all out now. You got to give them all the tag titles.
Yeah, it's
when they face the Usos.
They were down since at the very least. Definitely. I think this match for me didn't fully click because of the whole like injury angle. I think in any other context that angle would have worked better, but because of the whole show curse context thing, I guess in that sense it worked, but I think it's just hit a little too close for home for me and others. Yeah. And I think in that sense it worked everybody, but assuming it's not a legit injury, which I could also see Dax Harwood coming out despite having a legitimate injury. So it either worked or it's real, or who the heck knows. But other than that, match was very good. I thought that Roppongi Vice did a very good job. I liked that how they played up the sneaky style of Rocky Romero, as he was the guy that would constantly slip in with a tag. Great-O-Khan, Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb looked good. Great-O-Khan, I don't know what it is. He just feels better in New Japan ring versus an AEW ring for me. I feel like he didn't have his like real charisma shining through for me for some reason. I don't know what it was particularly about it, but it just didn't quite hit that charisma that he has. But Jeff Cobb looked good. Like you said, I agree. This match was 2 halves. The first half was sort of the beat down of all the teams, and then you get Dax come out making the big save and getting the eventual win. Of course, Rocky taking the pinfall, Who could have guessed it? Everyone probably.
I thought the second half was so good that it made up for the first half. And the first half wasn't bad wrestling wise. It's just you have that, like slight dark cloud where you're awaiting, oh, is Dax actually hurt? Is this ruined? Is like everything going to shit? And they kept it together. So it almost makes you think maybe it didn't go fully to shit. Maybe they took advantage of all those injuries that we knew about.
Yeah.
And we were like, you know what? We'll play a little song. But it worked out in the end. Very I wouldn't say very good, really good. Really good.
This is from Trevor Dame on Twitter. Brian was actually feeling great before a phone call 8 days before the pay-per-view, where Tony Khan called him saying that Brian's gonna be fine. So that caused plans to change. Basically, Tony Khan took Bryan Danielson off the card. Bryan Danielson was probably good to wrestle, but he took him off the card, I'm guessing, because everyone else was injured and he needs Bryan Danielson at a better 100% spot. So he's not 100%. We're taking him off the card. Anyways,
that's okay.
Well, it was also that. So then that caused plans to change. But Brian then talked to Tony. He brought up Claudio's name as a replacement, and Tony told him, "quote Funny, I already have him under contract." What a man! Apparently, Trevor Dean might have misheard, but he says, "I'm late to the scrum. I think Tony said he contracted Claudio on June 2nd, but didn't know if he'd debuted here or at Death Before Dishonor." So that is an interesting little news tidbit. Anyways, this match was very good. Ring of Honor's, Cash Wheel and Dex Harwood now your IWGP Tag Team Champions, along with your AAA Tag Team Champions. And what does that mean? Now FTR can go head over to Japan when? Well, the G1 Climax is coming up, so not anytime soon. Tag titles don't quite matter at the moment there anyways. Maybe they'll be at the finals. Maybe the G1 Climax finals, Do a little defend against United Empire, just a 2-man tag. That could be a good spot.
Aussie Open. I think they'll defend them once or twice, maybe here in the States.
Ooh, against like an Aussie Open team. That's good. Oh man, that's real good.
Yeah.
AEW All Atlantic Title 4-way match. It was in fact Pac. We called it, or I called it.
I called it.
I called it.
I think we both called it.
I think we both called it. Pac defeating Clark Connors, Malachi Black, and Miro. I think everyone did a good job, but I think same thing with the Shota Umino thing. Special shout out to Clark Connors.
Yes.
Utterly, I would say.
Everyone apologize to the Wild Rhino. Everyone apologize to Clark Connors.
Not a lot of cheering for him when he made his entrance, and he did a great job in the match, constructed in a great way that helped put over Clark Connors slowly but surely building him up to get to the point of a Miro spear through a table where Clark Connors got the crowd on his side, crowd cheering for him. Give him a singles match on Dynamite. Put Clark Connors versus Yuta. I don't know. Well, Yuta,
some random match.
Just a random match.
Put him in.
Put him in.
Put him in, coach.
Put him in, Tony. Definitely a solid match here. What did you think of the match?
Very solid. Again, I thought the first half was meh. The second half was great. I thought the second half was like really, really great. I'm so happy Pac's champion because this is a guy I've been wanting to matter since the moment he signed with this company. He's one of my favorites that they have. And this goes to my thing. Like they need to believe in these guys that they have that are healthy, right? Mm-hmm. And who gives you your best chance of traveling the world and defending that title? If that's what they want to do, it's probably Pac. He can defend that against anyone you want, anywhere. It's a deserving win for him. It's one that I'm excited for because now he's going to have big matches, which I feel like, it's funny with Pac. He doesn't necessarily get big matches. He more so just gets matches that he ends up delivering in, like the Buddy Matthews one, or like the Dax Harwood one last year when he came back. Like these random singles matches, and he just delivers. Obviously, they could do him and Malachi, but I think you should give him a nice, healthy reign for this first reign as the champion. Really good match. Good job, Clark Connors. I really thought Miro was going to win when he got the what does he call it? Game over? He called game over now?
Yes.
Yeah, when he got that locked on the first time, I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, why do we have to have Pac lose? I was like, all of my feels, and then I like the way that they ended. He hits the 450 and then takes out Connors with the brutalizer. Really good stuff. Right winner. Win.
Next up on the media scrum was Jon Moxley. He immediately comes out with a 6-pack of non-alcoholic beer. And
yes, I was listening to his interview with Renee today. He talked about that, how he buys he finds a Whole Foods wherever he goes.
Mm-hmm.
Gets them so that he doesn't even think about it at the end. Yeah. He just knows that he has those, cracks it open. It's how he celebrates a great match, because that's what he was talking about. So that's actually really funny that he had that.
Yeah, he said that he is trying to get some sort of sponsorship or free shit or something.
Yes, that's what he said on the show.
Yeah,
he's great.
Yeah.
And Moxley's the fucking man.
The 4-way was really, really great. Clark Connors, man, just give him a singles match on Dynamite. That's what I want. The crowd's into him.
Give Clark Connors give him the keys, not to AEW, not to really. When I say give him the keys, I just like acknowledge him, acknowledge that he's great.
No, man, give him a TNT title shot. Why not? Who's the TNT champion? Scorpio Sky? That could be good.
Unfortunately.
Well, it's eventually be Wardlow. Do Wardlow versus Clark Connors. Now we're talking. I'm
kind of like, okay, I have a take. This isn't even the Wardlow stuff. Kind of worn off for me already.
Well, he hasn't been on TV. It feels like in a bit.
Well, no, they made him be a fucking idiot. Like, oh, I don't want the AEW World Title until CM Punk's back. Yeah. And then he's like, but you know what I do want? I want to beat Scorpio Sky. And I was like, what?
But I'm not going to, but I can't do anything because Scorpio Sky's awesome.
And then they have him wrestle 20 dweebs.
Yeah, which was fun.
It was fun, but it was whatever. His feuding with Mark Sterling and Dan Lambert, like, come on. He went from that MJF hot feud. By the way, if you want to just like really talk about these things, they're keeping a man off TV. That is perfectly healthy. In MJF to tell a story. I just want to point that out. He could be coming back soon. They kind of need him.
Going back to your point about what does AEW look like after this event? That's very interesting. Very, very interesting to see. Next up on the show, it was the Dudes with Attitudes. Darby Allin, Shingo Takagi, and Sting defeating the team of El Phantasmo, Matt, and Nick Jackson. We talked about it on Ring Post Radio the last episode, that El Phantasmo and the Young Bucks would fit like a glove.
Fantastic douches.
Yeah.
I mean that as nice as I can mean it. They were fantastic douches for the big time baby faces. Sting's out of his fucking mind, by the way. I need everyone to know this. Sting is out of his mind. He is 63 years old. He's doing big dives. He's getting kicked in the mouth and no selling it. He's doing everything as if he hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah.
And every Sting match is an absolute blast. Absolute blast. Is it the match of the night usually? No. Is it, a classic? No. But they're always fun. They always get the crowd involved. They're just fantastic. And this was another case. Watching him and Shingo fist bump in the middle of the ring, I was like, oh man, this is awesome. Darby was there.
Yeah.
He was the least important part.
Yeah. 100%. In a weird way. It was all about Sting, all about Shingo, all about El Phantasmo and the Young Bucks. Darby wasn't out really. Darby was like assist, which is fine. Yeah. It's fine.
The youngest one.
to also be fair, probably a good idea. It's, you got the Young Bucks as the champion, El Phantasmo's New Japan, Shingo's New Japan, and Sting. Yeah, Darby was kind of, I guess, in hindsight, maybe the sixth man on this totem pole.
I do Sting and Darby versus the Bucks.
When Darby's your sixth man on the totem pole, it's not a bad match.
Yeah, I can see them believing him again a little bit more. I would do Sting and Darby versus the Bucks soon. By the way, they should not win. The Bucks should win, but you should definitely do that match.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, we have probably 3 matches to book on Dynamite still, right? I mean, maybe 2 matches. So maybe you do that. That could be fun. If I don't know, because it's Sting and he tends to take time off in between matches. So maybe not for a bit. But yeah, this match is very good.
Quick at the lake.
Quick at the lake. Match was very good. Sting was an insane person, like you said. Phantasmo was a douche, which was perfect. Jacksons came back in their old Ring of Honor New Japan gear. The old
that made me emotional.
Black pants and the jean jacket. So that was fun. And yeah. And now it's confirmed. Dudes of Attitudes, an LIJ subgroup. So that's pretty good.
Kevin Kelly called them.
What is the
Los Stingranables?
Stingranables.
Oh my god, trying to say it's killing me right now.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, match was totally fun. I thought this match was actually pretty great. I thought that the work all around was fantastic. It's again a trios match, so of course I'm gonna fall in love with it in AEW. And the match was just great. I mean, like you said, the super kicks with Sting eating it, pumping up, and then double lariat, and then selling it. I love that shit. I love a delayed sell. Not a no sell, delayed sell, and Sting is great at those too. Shingo killing people. I was hoping for more fast Shingo with the Young Bucks.
Yeah,
but that's fine. Shingo slowed down his style a little bit. He's a little older. It is what it is. Great match. Fantastic match. Phantasmo match. AEW Women's World Title match. Thunder Rosa defeated Toni Storm in 10 minutes and 42 seconds. Scotty, what did you think about the Women's World Title match?
It was the best AEW pay-per-view women's match since Ritt versus Statlander, maybe?
Yeah, and that was Revolution 2020. I believe.
No, it wasn't.
I believe it was.
2020? 2020? It was 2021.
I'll look it up.
No, because... No. Whatever. Either way.
No, it was not. Nyla Rose and Chris Statlander was 2020. So let's check 2021. That was
2021
was Shida and Ryu Mizunami. When did they? I'll look this up. I'll look into it.
Double or Nothing. All Out.
I'll look up.
All Out.
Continue. Thoughts on the match?
I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I was convinced, and I said this on the show earlier, that I was for sure Toni Storm was winning. So when she kicked out of the Thunder Driver by Thunder Rosa, I was like, oh, okay, here we go. And then Rosa hits the Gold Dust finisher, and the final cut. Is that what it's called?
Final Reckoning. It used to be
called the Final Cut. So eat me.
I'm good. I'll pass.
But it was good. It was fast. Like they were in there and they were out. So maybe that benefited it. But I would like to see them go again, because I do think they have even better in them. I think they did a lot of good things in there. They didn't have much chance to let it all breathe, but it was really good. It was good. It was good. Probably the weakest match on the card, but that's not their fault.
No, this is the match was still very good.
Right. You put that on the last pay-per-view, it's like maybe the 4th best match, 5th best match.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
It was AEW All Out 2021. It was Chris Statlander versus Britt
so
Baker.
probably the best since then. I thought this was better than the deep one.
Yeah, this match was really good. I thought it was pretty good. It was very much like a hard-hitting match, which I appreciated. A lot of people saying that was sort of like a hard-hitting Joshi match sort of thing. You know, like a good undercard Joshi match is what I would say.
Yeah.
Which, you know, still a good match. Still a very good match. I'm not faulting anything from it. Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa beat the piss out of each other. That German suplex on the apron looked like it roughed up Tony Storm pretty bad.
Yeah, she landed. Thunder Rosa just landed on her head.
Yeah, and then you know, and then the DDT to the floor looked great. Again, like every single time I see it, Tony Storm's running hip attack looks like death, and I don't know if
it has to feel like death too.
I don't know if it feels like death or it's some sort of. It's very protected and like it's like a Vader punch sort of thing where it looks real bad, but it's actually pretty safe. I don't know. It doesn't look good, but I guess that's good. Because boy howdy, that thing when she's running with that thing, it's whoo boy, you know
that thing.
Oh,
rock hard ride nights over there.
Oh man. Anyways, no, the match was very good. I'm a professional. 26-year-old professional. Yeah, it was a very good match. Thunder Rosa retains.
Searching for just the right job? Whether you're looking for full-time, part-time, or seasonal work, you can get started today. Amazon Jobs offers the whole package with great pay and flexible shifts that allow you to choose when and how much you work. Find a warehouse close to home and discover the role that works for you. To get your application started for an hourly job, go to amazon.com/apply. That's amazon.com/apply. Amazon is proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors have the expertise to find exactly what you need and the ethics to do the right thing, even when it's the harder thing. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
So what's next for Thunder Rosa is the question.
What's next is Miyu Yamashita, baby. Plans back on. Miyu Yamashita beats her ass at NJPW. You set that up for All Out. Thunder Rosa gets the win back. That's how I would look.
Yeah. Oh, that's a pretty good idea. I mean, you got that in the.
Who else do you have Thunder Rosa to face right now on the roster? That's a must.
That's a must that she hasn't faced already. Because
that isn't feuding with Jade Cargill. The two main people I would pick are both feuding with Jade.
Yeah, they don't tend to. Oh, that's fun. I just noticed something on the roster page for AEW. If you click on the champions, the current champions, you can click on view title history and it'll show you, take you to a different page that has a picture, the reign dates, and number of days for each champion. That is very cool. That is actually that's a very good resource to have. Let's look at that women's roster. Who do you got that's could challenge?
It should be Miyu Yamashita. You rumored it, just do it.
Shida.
Shida's busy in Japan too.
she's injured, you mean?
She's going to be on that same TJPW show, as is Riho, by the way. If anyone wants to remember Riho exists, Riho would be a great option, by the way, because Riho's awesome. So Shida has that. She's going to be on Ice Ribbon show. I don't know if she's coming back, and Riho just isn't used anymore. So,
yeah,
what are we doing? What are we doing?
If we're doing,
you have all these great talents signed to your company.
If we're doing a TJPW thing, maybe Yuka Sakazaki.
You could do that, but I mean, you have the Yamashita match literally set up.
I know. I'm just saying as another TJPW AEW connection.
When's that PWG show?
PWG show? Oh, that
she's on. Is that this weekend? Next weekend?
I will look it up for you, sir. I assume.
We'll move on to the next match. I'll take the lead.
Go for it.
I got you.
I got you.
July
3rd. July 3rd.
July 3rd. Oh, so next weekend.
Yeah.
So it's banger time.
That means Yuka Sakazaki might be on Dynamite or Rampage soon.
I think they'll put her on Dark. Come on now. All right. We got the final 4 matches here. And for me, this is where it was just the final 4. It was Killer's Row. It was fantastic the rest of the way. I thought it was fantastic from start to finish anyways. Will Ospreay, Orange Cassidy for the IWGP United States Championship, which was in the house, by the way. I just want to point that out, that the title was in the house, but the champion's a geek and doesn't want to go get it, I guess. So, whatever. That's fine.
I'd rather beat down Orange Cassidy than get my own title.
Yeah. So, we have Will Ospreay, Orange Cassidy. Big time match. Remember, this was the big one. This was the big one of complaints, Ryan. This was the really Orange Cassidy. And we knew, and it doesn't help that we knew Andrade was supposed to face Will Ospreay. That also didn't help. But Ryan, you know what happened? You know what happened here on June 26th, 2022?
No.
Orange Cassidy showed up to play, baby. That's what happened. Orange Cassidy showed up. He went out there, had a great match with Billy Goat, Will Ospreay, whatever the fuck you want to call him. Great match. You have the heel scumbag of Ospreay just kind of, he doesn't respect him. And after the opening, like Cassidy doing the things in the pockets got old. Ospreay was dominating. Then, Orange Cassidy had enough. He had enough. He became a wrestler. All of a sudden, he was doing he did this dive to the Aussie Open. That was crazy. I've never seen him do it. A springboard to the outside. That was fantastic. Back and forth they go. Like the excitement that filled me watching this match. It was great. It was, for me, the number 2 match of the night. I thought Ospreay was on his level, as you'd expect. Cassidy stepped up as I expected. Fantastic stuff. And it's probably all forgotten because of the post match at this point, but it was a great match.
Yeah. So the match itself, I think it was a little bit of a 2 kind of prong match. I think the first half was very much an Orange Cassidy kind of match. I'm just going to mock you, do your bits, very lazily, do all that stuff, do the kicks and everything. And then it started getting into gear, started ramping up the gear, becoming an Ospreay sort of style match. It was very interesting. I saw someone tweet out, I don't remember who it was, saying that watching Ospreay in that match is going to put to shame all the people that just saw the Ricochet Ospreay gif years ago and have been shitting on him ever since. That was the match that was like, because in this match, he wasn't doing flippy shit over the place. He was like very slow, very, very methodical, knew what he was doing. It did pop into flippy shit every once in a while, but it worked well. He did a little Andrade shout out, worked well.
Yeah, I saw someone tweet out that Seth Rollins is still better than Ospreay, and I just can't stop laughing. I was like, what?
We're talking multiple years of Wrestler of the Year.
Why are we?
Right? I mean,
why are we talking about this? Like, why is this the conversation? Like, why is it Seth Rollins versus Ospreay? Because of that one conversation they had on Twitter years ago. Like, to me, it's over. Like, I don't give a shit. But fantastic match. Another great title match. This was better than the Sonata one for me that Ospreay had, where he won the title. This was better than, I don't know, probably some other match. I think the Dax one was better than this from TV, but that's just a credit to what Ospreay's doing.
Oh, 100%.
And I can admit, like, I understand people don't like Ospreay. I get it. We know what we know his past, we know what he's done, but I have to talk about it as a wrestler. Looking at him as a wrestler, he is one of the best, plain and simple, maybe the best. I mean, he's going to be in my top 5 guaranteed probably at the end of the year.
Yeah.
For wrestler of the year. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know where it's going to shake out right now. He's probably, off the top of my head, I haven't looked at the things since I put in my rankings for the show, but he's probably going to be number 2 by the end of the night. So
I think he's currently my number 1, and I haven't put in these rankings yet. So it could easily change. I mean, the people that are fighting with it are Kazuchika Okada, Dax Harwood.
I have Jon Moxley, I'm guessing, number 1 now.
Yeah, that's possible. There's a lot of people fighting for it. I mean, Will Ospreay, I need to watch more Will Ospreay of his indie matches and stuff, like the Nick Wayne match and all that stuff. So yeah. I'm sure he'll beat over everybody else. Yeah, this match is very good. Will Ospreay is fantastic. Post match, they're doing the beatdown. Rocky Romero and Trent make the save.
And you're just thinking, it's gonna be Yano.
I literally put it in the Discord. I was like, crap. Oh, here comes Yano. We know he's there. We know Yano's gonna do it. It's a great, funny bit. It was not Yano. Katsuyori Shibata shows up, comes down to the ring, beats up Aussie Open, beats up Will Ospreay, drop kick in the corner, gets him out of the ring. Will United Empire escape? Shibata.
His theme song.
Oh man, baby.
His theme song got not the loudest pop of the night, but it was like right there.
It was definitely like the amount of people that recognized the theme music.
Yeah.
Then
once he showed up, they're like, "Holy!"
They're like, "Oh my god, it's Shibata! Oh my god, it's Shibata!" Yeah, man, he's just so good, man. And then you get the sort of interaction between Shibata and Orange Cassidy, which is just a fever dream that that we all had one day, that we put on and actually saw on TV. That is a unbelievable moment, I guess, in wrestling history, is Shibata and Orange Cassidy sharing a ring in that sense. And that was Shibata popping up on AEW Forbbiden Door. Can you believe it? Moxley in the media scrum did not say too much. He gushed over Bryan Danielson. I did like this one line that said that BCC is a perfect time, is so good for him. Claudio is perfect part of the group. Mox says that they say in BCC you have to bleed together, and he and Claudio already have. Quote from Jon Moxley: "You can watch that shit on Peacock. I knocked his teeth down his throat. He wore adult braces for 2 years." I think he's actually still wearing braces.
That did happen.
Let's
get to it. Yeah, Claudio time.
I was just talking about other things in here. Doesn't really say much more about it. Anything else? He's really gushing over Bryan Danielson. Says Claudio's an alien. And then this is what the interesting other bit. Mox, I'm going to do some fantasy booking. He, Darby Allin, Sting, and the Great Muta in a 6-man. Now, it wouldn't be a 6-man, I guess. It would be an 8-man. Mox wants to know who put it together. Khan says he's lucky. Mox said that because New Japan loves him. He couldn't get away with that. He's saying that maybe New Japan can put together a 8-man with Jon Moxley, Darby Allin, Sting, and the Great Muta versus somebody. Then Mox says that Eddie Kingston wants Jun Akiyama. Tony Khan perks up and says that is something I can do. And then Mox said if Akiyama wants to bring Sakuraba along, maybe he'll work him as well. So that's fun. Next up in the media scrum is Kazuchika Okada with one Chris Charlton doing translating. So that should be fun. Yes, so next up we had the singles match, Zack Sabre Jr. versus mystery opponent. That, of course, was Claudio Castagnoli, former WWE's Cesaro. He is officially in AEW, an insane pop after insane pop on this card. People lost it for him. Even JR was like, whoa. It's like, whoa, that's a pop right there, fella. People lost it. It's new member of the BCC. He is an unbelievable pickup, a great person to have in this company. I think his ceiling could be as high as world champion. I don't know when that would ever happen, but I honestly think like that could easily be his ceiling. He's up there in age. He's 41, so maybe not necessarily it could happen, but hey, man, why not? But then it was, of course, Claudio defeating Zack Sabre Jr. in 18 minutes and 26 seconds. Now, the match itself, I wasn't too into it. It kind of felt a little samey for a little bit. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more. It very, very much felt like a great WWE Cesaro match. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, obviously. This was still a very good match for me. But these are all very nitpicky where it's like, it's still a very good WWE Cesaro match. But, I'm just imagining as soon as that dust comes off, the WWE dust comes off, oh boy, when Claudio comes out to play, yeah, baby.
I thought the match was great. I didn't think it was.
Yeah,
I see some people say it was like the match of the show, which is fine, whatever.
Yeah, I'm admitting that I'm admitting that I'm lower than most people probably.
Yeah, Ryan's the low guy on this one, which is fine. He usually is.
Yeah.
Which is okay, and he'll be high on the Evils versus Tamatanga, so it's okay. It evens out eventually, my guys.
It's wrestling. It's subjective. I can have my own taste.
Exactly. That's why it's the best. That's why wrestling's the best.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to toss that little joke in there for the birthday boy. It's not his birthday anymore, apparently, but
no,
I can fit that in because it was until you fall asleep, you're still a birthday boy. That's how this works.
I appreciate it.
Anyways, I thought it was great. Hell of a way for Claudio to walk from one door of WWE right into AEW, facing Zack Sabre Jr. at Forbbiden Door, joining the Blackpool Combat Club. It's hard to get much better than that. Do I think that it was perfect? No, because he has a lot of other moves and things he did, but I loved it. I think if you got stuck in the moment and just appreciated that he was there, what he was doing, totally respect that. Fantastic stuff. Zach was great. I want to give Zach credit, of course. Though I will say, we did talk about this on the podcast earlier. Now I don't see a reason of why we should do Danielson versus Sabre Jr.
I think
if he couldn't even beat Claudio,
I think
why is he going to beat Danielson?
I think that's also why I was low on this match. I don't like the booking. Zack Sabre Jr.
But I knew Claudio wasn't losing.
Yeah, you should win on your debuts, and especially if it's a guy like Claudio.
If there wasn't a blood and guts,
it's hard to now say that Zack Sabre Jr. is the best technical wrestler in the world when he lost to Claudio. Zack Sabre Jr. will easily spin the claim of it's a guy I didn't know who was going to be.
Yeah,
that
Seth Rollins.
You can do that. That's fine. A little asterisk, I guess. But it slightly lowers the intrigue of a Danielson match for me. Yeah. And maybe that's why I was maybe a little lower on it.
Okay. So final thoughts on this. I think he looked good. He did the Ricola bomb, which is essentially his new finisher again. He pretty much ended the neutralizer as his finisher literally within seconds. The match started with the honestly, match would have got like 4.5 stars if they ended it like that right off the bat with the the uppercut and the neutralizer, and they just ended it. I would just be like, holy shit, they just destroyed Zack Sabre Jr. They didn't do that, thankfully. I mean, I'm happy they had a full match. Really good stuff. And like we said, Claudio's only going to get better and better and better. I think he's going to have he won't be in Wrestler of the Year talk at the end of the year just because he's not going to catch up in time. But I think he can do something like Danielson did when he came over to the AEW. He's got to figure out he's going to be in Blood and Guts. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's going to be fantastic. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be part of the Blackpool Combat Club. It's guaranteed for some really good matches. And get those damn trio belts here. We have the best trio. Give me Moxley, Danielson, and Claudio versus the Elite. Now. Death Triangle. Now. Los Facción Ingobernables. Now. Give me these matches. Stop waiting. I understand you're waiting for Kenny. Who cares? No offense to Kenny, but do we really need to wait?
Remember
so the Elite.
Remember the
You'll
argument.
Probably have the Elite lose in the finals.
Remember the argument for the trio spells is like Dark Order and Lucha, Jungle Express. It's like, man, look at all these trios teams.
We don't have to worry about that anymore.
But it's like just 2 years later. It's like House of Black.
I even say them.
Yeah, it's just the trios teams got even more unbelievable, and it's like, and now it's even more preposterous that those belts don't exist.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's time. We know they're made. That's the worst part. We know they're in Tony Khan's house, just sitting there, waiting to be used.
Sitting on a shelf, just waiting to be used.
They
Okada
have Kenny Omega written on it.
Okada had the media scrum, didn't say too much. Said he loved to work with other people, and that's kind of pretty much it. Claudio's up. He's saying that he would. People are just asking these wrestlers, "Who do you want to work? Who do you want to work with?" What dumbass questions! I hate media scrums like this. Okada? Who do you want to work? His response was Tony Khan. That's fun, but like, come on, man. Of course he wants to work whoever. God, what do you freaking ask better questions, people? Claudio was also asked that same question. Says he doesn't care about dream opponents. It's who the fans wanted to see him wrestle. Throws out Kenny Omega, saying that they haven't wrestled since 2008. Earlier, in terms of talking about seeing old friends, he mentioned not the guy he yells or screams all the time, obviously alluding to Eddie Kingston. And he was asked specifically why AEW, which I think was a fun question, which is actually a good question. He says the stars aligned for a perfect moment, called it a perfect fit. Bryan's will be back, put over his prior relationship with Mox. At the end of the day, I'm always looking for new challenges. So that's a fun question, I guess.
Let's make this important. No, let's make this point important. The moment Claudio and Eddie have their match, that's when Claudio's back.
Yeah, that's an all-out match for sure.
Eddie brings the best out of everyone.
Yeah.
He is the reason I enjoy seeing Chris Jericho again.
That's a solid
right?
point.
Like, he's done everything.
That's a solid point.
Yeah.
I want to see Chris Jericho get beaten. And Eddie Kingston's the guy that brings it out. It's not just that I don't want to see Chris Jericho off my screen. It's I want to see him beaten. I care enough.
I did want to see him off my screen for a long time there.
IWGP World Heavyweight Title 4-way match. Jay White retained his title against Adam Cole, Adam Page, and Kazuchika Okada.
I thought this match was really, really good. And then the finish, was so upsetting.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were killing it in there. The Okada, the love that Okada had in that building every time he did something. I'll say it, I thought Adam Cole was good in this match. I thought Hangman Page was good in this match. I thought Jay White was good. I thought everything was going great, honestly. I really, really was enjoying the match. But of course, the finish does hurt it because it seems that something happened to Adam Cole, whether it was on the drop kick, he got, stung one way or the other. We don't know what happened. We don't know exactly what happened.
There were some people showing a clip around that it might have been the Rainmaker, the spin around and come back in, which was on the arm that has the injured arm. Might have maybe popped it out of the socket or did something. Apparently, it's a labrum injury. Could be a tear or something.
Dealing with, right.
So, some people are thinking maybe with that arm Rainmaker situation might have hurt it a little bit more.
It was Meltzer who reported earlier this week that people were fighting hurt, and this could be the last time we see them for a little bit.
Yeah.
And it does feel like Adam Cole was the guy he was talking about. And of course, he got hurt. A very unfortunate situation in the end, because I thought the match was really, really good. I was having so much fun. That it felt like they were getting set up for what was going to be a great finish, but they kind of had to just get to it because Cole was hurt, because he didn't get hurt by the Rainmaker. He didn't get hit by the Rainmaker. He just avoided it and got pinned by Jay White.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunate because it was great. I really enjoyed everything. I thought they showed up. But it is what it is.
Yeah, totally. It is what it is. These things happen. We knew they were coming in, working hurt. I think, I don't know if the ref made a botch or if they called the match early or something. It didn't look like that. There was a lot of talk of Jay White and Adam Cole talking to the referee after that. So I don't know what that was all about. But, if it was a referee botch, at least you kept the title on Jay White and he pinned Adam Cole, right? That at least that happened. Because that works. You can keep New Japan can keep. Imagine if it was Adam Page pinning Kazuchika Okada, right? That would be unbelievable. And he's the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Unbelievable. But now you have it still on Jay White, and he pinned Adam Cole, so it works with the story. Everything works within the booking. I think that's all very good, all very well and good. So I'm totally fine with that. It stinks. It is anticlimactic. It hurt the match, but ultimately, still a good match. Still a very good match.
I was really enjoying it. I didn't think it was getting to the levels of that Fatal 4-Way from Capital Collision.
Yeah.
But I think had they had a great finish, maybe it would have. I don't know. So it does take the hit there. But again, those four did put on a show. And hopefully Adam Cole can get better, take his time.
Yeah. Whatever that injury is, hopefully he can, heal up a little bit. We need these people healing up soon. I mean, luckily you got blood and guts, so you have some time to heal up other people on the roster. Not use them for a week. So we'll see how it goes. But you also have the potential to injure more people. So. It is what it is, folks. It's injuries. And then you had your main event of the evening. It was the interim AEW World title match with Jon Moxley getting the win by pinning and defeating Hiroshi Tanahashi. Jon Moxley got brutally bloody on a sling blade. Those deadly... They call them sling blades, right? I mean, they call them blade for a reason. And that's just what happened to Jon Moxley. So what do you think about the main event?
I love the main event. I said this on Twitter, but when you get me on the edge of my seat and then you get me on my feet in the last 5 minutes, you did your job. Tanahashi is, of course, one of the greatest of all time, maybe the greatest of all time. And if you ever need to be confirmed that, he made a 50-50 crowd here in the United States that was cheering for Moxley and Tanahashi go from that to go Ace chants through the end, and people become very upset when he loses in the end.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. It was exactly what this show needed to cap it off. It's exactly what it needed, and it's exactly what I expected them to do. Very physical. They're throwing forearms at one another. They have just this fantastic back and forth throughout the entire match. Tanahashi hits the high fly flow. You believe he has a chance. Ultimately, Moxley kicks out, but it's okay. It's okay. He gets out of the bulldog choke the first time. You're like, okay, well, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
We're going back and forth. He's in that sleeper hold. He's starting to fade. Fights out of that, gets in a bulldog choke, and then Moxley finishes off with the paradigm shift. It was fantastic. He hits an aces high on the outside because he's still insane at 44, 45 years old. However old he is, he's just the best. And Moxley's the best. Moxley is on the run of his career this year. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, this match was really, really good. Jon Moxley and Tanahashi put on a really, really good match. Tanahashi worked a little slower than I thought he typically does for some reason. I don't know what
He does that in the U.S. It feels.
Yeah. John Moxley worked very well. The blood was unbelievable. Lots of blood. But doing the high fly flow, converting into the bulldog choke as the finish there. Not really the finish there, but doing that, picking it back up, Death Rider, all that jazz. Real good stuff. Love to see it. I was hoping for Tanahashi to get the win. I think it would have been nice here to have Tanahashi have the win. But, still a good idea to have the title on John Moxley.
Everyone was in agreement with you.
If everyone was agreeing with me, everyone thought it would be a good idea.
But in the end, I was right.
Oh, damn it. Scotty's always right. But it's also the thing of you can still have John Moxley on the show, but maybe it is a good idea when everyone else is injured to have still ratings draw, and that is a champion on the show and do some matches and stuff. So what does this reign look like? John Moxley versus AEW World Champion. Will he defend it a couple times? Probably, maybe. Who the heck knows? He'll face Punk at some point. That's a pretty good money match pay-per-view if I've ever seen one. And maybe eventually we'll get Punk versus Tanahashi. Maybe.
If you look around, there are so many ways to make a difference. At Capella University, our FlexPath format gives you a different way to earn your degree. Take courses at your speed. Move on whenever you're ready. Education should fit your life. Learn more at capella.edu.
Introducing Under Armour's Infinity High Sports Bra. Its ergonomic design is molded to support the natural movement of your body. With cord-out padding, the better breathability eliminates extra bulk without sacrificing support. And quick-dry padding is Under Armour's fastest-drying padding yet. When you're lifting heavy, running fast, and pushing yourself further than ever before, you need a bra that will help you go that extra mile and make you feel your best. Shop the Infinity High Sports Bra now at UA.com.
That would be next year's match at Forbbiden Door
sure
2.
We'll have blood, by the way. I'm sure we'll have blood in...
Punk versus Moxley.
Yeah, I'm sure.
100%.
I'm pretty positive of that. If we got it in, Tanahashi versus Moxley.
Yeah, and Punk versus Moxley is very interesting because that could easily step us into a Punk versus Danielson match.
Yeah. Yep. I think the title being on Moxley is the right move if you want the title here. Obviously, yeah. I mean, he's been your best wrestler. So I don't blame them for going with him. And it was just a job well done from start to finish on the show.
FTR is at the table now. They're moving these wrestlers in and out very quickly. FTR is on the thing. One of the questions asked if they're going to defend the IWGP title. Fucking, we need better people in wrestling media. Jesus Christ. And Tex Harwood sarcastically responded with, "No, we're gonna lose our smile."
Oh my god.
Fucking, like, if you're one of these wrestlers and you're asked that question, it's just like, what are you fucking talking about, man? Of course.
Wrestling media might have been a mistake.
It's just, what are you talking about? Of course we're defending these titles. We're champions.
That's terrible, man. Not shocking. Just bad, though.
Yeah, it's just
that's
dumb.
Like really, that's embarrassing.
It's an embarrassing question to ask. I don't know who asked it, but that's not a fun question to ask. And after the main event, should be noted, was the like a 5-minute beatdown. Jericho and Garcia come out. They beat down Tanahashi. They beat down Moxley. Then BCC make a save. The Inner Circle come out and do some more beatdown. Then Claudio evens things out. Just a little 5-minute beatdown, sort of go home angle for Blood and Guts on this AEW New Japan pay-per-view. It's weird time to do this angle, Scotty. I get it. I get why you're doing it, But when you're watching Forbbiden Door 5 years from now, you're like, what was this angle for again? Why am I don't know. It just feels like a weird angle to do that as a closer.
All I tweeted was TK couldn't help himself. He couldn't. He could not help himself from doing this. It was so badly timed because you did this 3 straight shows. You did the end of the show brawl 3 straight shows, and they all included Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho. Every single one. The only good part about it was Eddie Kingston and Claudio hating each other. That was the only good part for me. Otherwise, I was like, why are we doing this? To get another Claudio moment?
Mm-hmm.
No, like that's not needed. You just had Hiroshi Tanahashi and Jon Moxley put on a great main event. End it that way. You crowned an interim AEW World Champion. End it. Finish it.
Yeah.
That is my one complaint on this pay-per-view. It was not needed at all, and yet Tony Khan could not help himself.
Yeah, you don't need these angles. You don't need these angles. Just end on a happy note. It's a bunch of air letting out of the room. I get it. I get why you're doing it, but I don't think these angles are a good idea. Unless it's like if that was the debut of Claudio, right?
Right.
That would work.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I already saw him wrestle the entire match.
Yeah. If you're doing a debut thing, then that's cool. But if it's just like an angle for Blood and Guts for a show, don't do that on my pay-per-view. Don't do that on my pay-per-view. Do that. Figure it out in your own damn time. Figure it out in your own damn show. You closed Dynamite last week with the same brawl.
Yeah, they closed Dynamite and Rampage with the Eddie Kingston Chris Jericho brawl.
Yes, they did.
It's just, you sold Blood and Guts. You didn't need to do this. I didn't need it.
Yeah.
I didn't need it. It's just so extra. You don't sell, especially because you're working with New Japan on it. You don't finish your pay-per-view by selling your next TV show. You already did that on the other TV shows. You hyped this up for Blood and Guts every fucking moment you got tonight.
Yeah.
It just wasn't needed. And that is my one complaint from what was the show of the year.
Undoubtedly.
It was like the complete opposite of All Out from last year for me.
The 2021
They had
one.
All Out was a great show, it was great. But it was the post main event that made it maybe the show of the year, right? With Adam Cole debuting, then Bryan Danielson debuting. This was, without question, I think the show of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you did this post-match angle that was so unnecessary. You're like, really?
Hat on the hat.
You left a sour taste. Not really. I mean, I got over it very quickly, but just... It
was deflating. It was just like, oh, all right, okay.
It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
In the end, it doesn't really matter, but
no,
it does.
And it's still a very good show.
In the end, it doesn't even matter.
So that's the show. That's Forbbiden Door. We have maybe some tidbits, but not tidbits, some nitpicks for some stuff. But honestly, the show was great. I wish, it's easier to talk about a show that stunk, but I cannot stress enough, this entire show, well worth $50. Well worth the price of admission. This show, despite everyone's claims saying that AEW is dead and that no one knows the Japanese wrestlers and all the roster members are injured, so there's not going to be a good show. Just shove all that stuff to the side and honestly realize what you just watched and remember and think to yourself how much better you will be next year with everyone there. Yeah, they could have all been there this year, but they'll be there next year, and the show's going to be even better. And that makes me very much excited for Forbbiden Door 2. I guess the only thing would be is the pay-per-view sales doing good, but I know a couple people that bought the pay-per-view solely off the buy-in, that they weren't going to do it. They saw the buy-in sold them, and they were in. And they got a show of the... Yeah, there's a couple people like that. So, that is what it is. But, that is... that's why you put great matches on the buy-in. To sell some pay-per-views, and it did. So we'll see when the number comes out, what it looks like. I'm definitely interested to see what that number is, because anything above, I think the line of doing it again is anything over 90, anything over 100 definitely. Will it be? I
think there'll be a lot of people regretting if they didn't watch it.
Yeah, I agree. I think there'll be people who did not like the build or did not like the wrestler being off the show because of injury, and just be like, no, I'm not watching the show, it's going to stink or whatever, are going to have to look themselves in the mirror and be like, I have to, what was I thinking? People are saying this is show of the year. This is a must watch. If you're listening to the show and you didn't watch the show, must watch. I mean, what are we doing here? You got to watch this show. Cannot stress it enough. Oh my God, folks. So that is it for us. That's it for Forbbiden Door. Scotty, any final thoughts about the pay-per-view itself?
Watch it if you didn't. That's pretty much it. I mean, if you're listening to this show and you didn't check it out and you enjoy what AEW often offers, if you enjoy what New Japan can offer, check it out. I think that's my best way to say it. Don't miss out because you didn't like the build or you were afraid that it wasn't going to live up to the billing. That's exactly what it did. Everyone's going to have different opinions on what their favorite matches were, and that's why wrestling is what wrestling is, but make sure to go out of your way and check it out.
Just imagine if Stardom wrestlers are on it next year. And Sasha Banks is in this promotion.
I don't know if that would make it better. Did AEW's women's division also get better?
Did you not just hear me say that? What if Sasha Banks is also in this promotion next year?
I mean, if we're getting one match, hell yeah.
Sasha Banks versus Mayu Iwatani.
Yes, that's my one dream match. I get it.
Sasha Banks versus Natsupoi. Ooh,
fuck yeah.
Sasha Banks versus Starlight Kid. Sasha Banks versus... Anyways.
Sasha Banks
versus herself. We clone her. Use cloning machines. We figure it out. Yeah, that's it for this week's episode of this bonus episode of AEW Forbbiden Door Instant Reactions from a Ring Post Radio Boys. Again, it is 1:16 a.m. I believe that's probably roughly the time we started the last time we did this. So we appreciate you all. We'll be back next week on Sunday for a little Ring Post Radio nights. So we'll be live streaming the afternoon to the night. And your boy is going to be drinking wine. Going to be a little wine drunk. So thank you all for watching this episode of Ring Post Radio. We'll see you all next week. Goodbye. This has been a Count Out Podcast.
You're right! There's buried treasure here! How did you know?
There always be treasure in the independent waters, matey.
Why don't more people come here for their hunt for treasure, Captain?
It'd be a hard one to find, but if you want to make it easier to find, tune into Independent Waters on the Count Out Network.
Every Wednesday with your hosts, me, Zach Batista.
And me, Mikey Manfredi.
As we take you through the independent wrestling scene and find the treasure buried beneath the surface.
Whether you're new to indie wrestling or have been watching for years, this show is for you.
That's Independent Waters every Wednesday on the Count Out Network.
See you there, landlubbers.